Okay, thank you for joining me on the Mighty Dragon today. And with me is Chelsea Jurkiewicz. And have I said that correctly,
Yeah,
Chelsea?
you did. You're like the first person that's ever said it right without like practicing first.
Oh,
Like it's really good. Good job.
I've been practicing in my head. So, but I just hate getting names wrong. And
Yeah, usually they want to practice with me like before we go on the air. Like
oh,
we
right.
like right before they're like, "How do you say it?" And you're like the only one that didn't do that but then said it right. So,
Yeah,
good
great.
job.
So we've started off well.
You are the winner.
Great. So this is your second appearance on the Mighty Dragon. The first one I interviewed you a while ago for Abigail's Haunting. And
Mhm.
what have you been up to since then?
Oh my gosh, it's like been a huge like journey since then. My life is like I've had tons of like huge things happen. So Abigail Haunting, like it was like really hard to film that and stuff because I have a very rare mental disorder called psychasthenia, and it was like going super crazy. Like when we were shooting that, it was like really out of control. And so that was a really hard experience to like try to do that film while I was like dealing with that. And so, but since then, it's like I'm like dealing with it a lot better now because I like have found out what it is really and like what I can like do about it to make it easier and stuff like that. So I've
Okay.
been working on that a lot. So that's probably like the biggest thing that I would say like that's happened since then is just like getting that kind of control back. And also I went to North Carolina and I filmed a movie out there, and that was really cool because I'd never been to that part of the country. Like I'm from Utah and I've been like around all like the Western US, but I hadn't been like on the East Coast at all. So that was really cool. And I met a lot of like really cool people and filmed a thing out there. And then I took a break from acting for like a year just because it was like just too much. It was like really crazy. And then I just got back into it very recently, like last month, and I shot a new movie where I was the lead character. Right now it's called Tiger Tiger, but they're considering changing the name.
Okay.
But it was really cool, and it was a sci-fi action adventure movie. So it was like
Yeah.
it was a really fun way to get back into acting after a year of taking a break from it. So it's been a crazy like year and a half since Abigail Haunting.
So when you had your year off, was it more like a period of self-reflection and working on yourself, self-care?
Yeah, pretty much just like trying to get the psychasthenia under control and find like it was like a whole year of like trial and error basically to figure out what was going to work for me and stuff. And um, I felt like I acted like so much that it kind of became like my identity and like what people like only thought of me as. And so I kind of like took a while to find like other things that I like as well, you know, so I'm not like just doing the one thing.
Okay.
And I started doing like a lot of like music stuff, like singing and a little bit of like playing the piano, but like not really like on a professional level or anything, but a little bit of that. And I found that I really like to ice skate and like draw and all these like other things. And it was kind of like how people say they take a gap year like between high school and college to like find themselves or whatever. I feel
Yes.
like I like kind of did that because I'm not in college, but I'm like the age where you would do that. So it was just like a good time to kind of figure out myself. And then now that I've like done that, I can, you know, still do acting and stuff. And I feel like more things are kind of under control and stuff like that.
Is that more like getting that balance right for you
Mm-hmm.
when you're working and your sort of social life as well? Do you find you come back to acting fresh and just, I'm ready for this again?
Absolutely. It's like totally different because I just done so much of it that I got to where it like wasn't really like fun and exciting anymore like it used to be.
Okay.
But now that I've like had a lot of time to kind of figure stuff out, then um, this movie that I recently did was like a big fun adventure again, like it used to be, and like I want acting to be and stuff. So it was good, and it was a good way to like get back into it because it was a movie that was shot like kind of near like where I grew up and stuff, and so it wasn't this whole like now I'm flying over here, you know, which it usually is, but it was nice to like film one in Utah and
Yeah.
stuff, and everybody was like super nice, and it was just like a really good way to get back into it. It was like super fun, and I'm used to the kind of really serious like horror films and stuff, and this one was more of like a just action adventure with like comedic relief and stuff in it. It was just super different than anything I'd like ever done, and so
So
that was nice too to get back into it in a totally different way. different, like just type of acting really. And I found that I really like that. Like I really like being super serious and dramatic and all that stuff. And that's kind of my forte. But I really liked doing this like adventure movie where it's just, running around and shooting an alien and just stuff
Yeah.
that it's totally unrealistic and like just super fun.
So we can see more of that in the future from you, do you think? This type
Yeah, probably.
movie?
Like, if people
Yeah.
want to offer me that, I'm really excited for this one to come out. We just finished shooting it like
Yeah.
the other week, so it's going to be about a year, but it's
Okay.
going to be really good. I think it's going to do really well. It's kind of
Great.
like it's funny because my character is like, it's basically, I don't know how much I'm really allowed to say, but
Yeah.
the basic like story is my character is going on like this solo hiking trip or whatever, and uh just to be by herself and stuff, and she comes across this group of men who are like glued to things, like glued to like an RV and stuff like that, by an alien, and aliens like come and like glued them places, and it's kind of like a reverse like damsel in distress type thing, only like I'm saving the men instead of like the men are like trying to rescue me. So it's just a lot of fun, and just totally not something that would actually happen in the world, just
Never
like
know.
just make believe, and that's what entertainment should be. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that to come out and for people to see it. And it's good because like this year, the movies that have been released this year, we didn't get to have like any premieres and stuff for them. We did get one, but the majority, like I didn't get to have the whole like red carpet stuff because of the pandemic. But like where we just finished this one, and it's going to probably be like a year before it comes out, I think that we're going to get to have all that stuff again, hopefully, cross your
Okay.
fingers. So that'll be fun too, to experience that with like this group of people that I've met and really like.
Yes. Yes. So what was Utah like? Sorry, I know I'm I've got questions upon questions here. So
Very good.
what was Utah like for us naive Britons who haven't been to Utah?
Well, I grew up in Utah, so it was really cool to
Yeah.
shoot a movie out there or
Okay.
out here. But yeah, it's beautiful, and I really like it because it's like every season is like very, very dramatic. Like the summer is like super, super hot and dry and everything. Like it's considered a desert and stuff, but like spring is like, lots of flowers and stuff, and Christmas or winter is like white Christmas. Like every season is like exactly what you would like expect it to be. It's like very dramatic, and that's kind of like how I describe it. Um,
Okay.
and but yeah, it was fun because a lot of my films have been like, LA or like just other random places, and they like fly me there, and it's like it's cool, and like it's a really fun opportunity because like people don't like get that, like people aren't like being flown to other states to do films and stuff, and so like I appreciate that opportunity. But it's like it's also like super intimidating because it's like you don't like know anybody there, and they're just like I feel like very alone and stuff. So it was like a perfect way to get back into it, was like filming one like in the state that I grew up in and stuff, and like I knew a couple people on set even and stuff, so that
Yeah.
was really good.
Great. Okay. As we've got Halloween around the corner, what will you be watching?
Well, actually, so I just had this other movie come out called The Crumbs, and we didn't get to have like a premiere for it because of the pandemic and stuff. And so I'm gonna have like a bunch of my friends come over and like watch that and kind of have like a like premiere, but like at my house because like
That
we didn't
sounds
get to have one. So we're gonna watch that. Like it's like it sounds like conceited because like I'm in it, but it's like not just like let's watch it. It's like because we didn't get to have a premiere, so it's kind of in place of that. But it's gonna be fun, and most of them have like waited to watch it until like that party, so they like haven't seen it yet, and so it's gonna be fun to show it to them because it's The Crumbs is I would highly recommend that. I don't know if you can get it in the UK right now, but
okay.
when you can, it's a very fun Halloweeny movie, and it was just released like a few days ago. It was super random because like they didn't tell me that it was coming out. Like usually you have this big release like hype, like okay, it's coming out in like this many days or whatever, and like it's just a big build up to it, and you can like promote it and be like watch for it in 3 weeks, but like they didn't tell me it was coming out like at all. And then it was just like that day, and they're like, hey, it's out, and I'm like, it is. And then I watched it, and I was like, yeah. And so like so yeah, that was different. Like just
Okay.
big surprise, like, oh, by the way, this movie's out. But yeah, it's called The Crumbs, and it's really weird. It's like a really strange film, but it's really fun for Halloween. And I actually do a British accent in it because
Oh,
I play a British girl who's in hiding in America, and so I get to like keep switching my accent, like when I'm around the like family. I have a British accent, and then when other people come in, I'm like American, and sometimes that switches mid
okay.
scene. And so that was different to like have to remember like which accent am I supposed to do here. But it was fun.
And are you a posh British accent, would you say? Can you
Um,
taste
yeah, like our they kind of wanted me to be like the RP accent and
that?
stuff. So
Okay.
that's like what I did or what I tried to do.
Yeah.
Hopefully I did it good enough where people aren't like, that's not how you do that. But I did a lot of British theater as like a kid, so I
Yeah.
kind of was drawing from that. So hopefully it was decent.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
You have to
um,
tell me if it was accurate or not.
oh no, I'm sure it'll be brilliant, so don't worry. Um, with you've touched upon your the horror genre that you normally work in. How do you prepare for it?
Um, well, I kind of just what I've learned recently about that is just like not to take myself too seriously. I think I used to try really hard to like get into character and draw from all these like deep dark emotions, and I'm like, yeah, you can do that, but I'd rather like not do that honestly, because like I've been acting for a long time. It's been over a decade, and um I know how to do things, you know. I like, especially in horror where I've done a lot of it, like it just kind of, I know how to do it, and like I feel like I have like a better experience with it if I just kind of let myself just do it naturally and not
Okay.
try to draw from all this like deep dark stuff, because that like I feel like with me the performance is like going to be the same, you know. Like I feel like it doesn't really impact like from the outside, like as an audience member I feel like they couldn't really tell if I was just doing it how it came out or I was drawing from this, that, and the other. And so like the only difference is like how I feel. And so it is like it's a lot more fun to just kind of wing it kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I definitely like, you know, work hard and all that stuff, but I used to be more, I have to like draw from this bad thing that happened to me and this thing and whatever. But it's like I just kind of wing it because like I
Yeah.
mean I know that it's gonna look good. I have confidence in my acting, and I have even more confidence in like the directors that I'm working with and who always like help me bring out the
Mm.
best in myself as an actor. And so I kind of just like, you know, I know the story, I know all my lines and all this stuff like ahead of time. I really like rehearse and do my research and stuff. And then when I get to the set, it's just kind of like, you know, I like literally like mess around and stuff like up until like literally the second they call action. And then I
Right.
just like get into character like super fast and then just do it like how I'm just naturally going to do it and like not really think about it too hard. And then
Yeah.
obviously if they give me direction, I'll like follow that, you know, as close as I
Yeah.
can, because it's at the end of the day, it's like it's their movie. Like I'm just like in it because like they're the ones that wrote it and like are making it and cast me and stuff. So I try to give them
Okay.
what they want.
Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting. I'd spoken to someone the other day who said that they have to really detach when they come away from the set, and they found it very emotionally draining. And that's good. I guess if you can just switch off like that because you've done it so long, and you just protect
Mm.
yourself in a way, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing was like, I know a lot of like really professional actors that have been working for a long time still do that where they get so into it. And so I used to be like afraid to use that kind of talent where I just like switch it on and off because I thought that people would look at me as like not as professional or something. But
Okay.
I've learned recently like life isn't a contest in professionalism, you know, like that's just how I work. And it doesn't make me less professional. It just makes me like a different actor, a different like type of actor. And so I like on this last movie, I just let myself do that and like, you know, let it switch on and off like super fast. I say that I jump in and out of character like it's a bed at a sleepover. It's just like it's on and off super fast. And I was like, you know, they might look down on this, but I don't really care that much. I'm just gonna do it anyway. And then it was like the last day of production, and the cinematographer like actually came over and said like how impressed he was about that. And so like now that makes me be like, people don't look down on that, they just like think it's cool. So I just like let myself do it because like that's what I do. So I'm just gonna do it. You
That's
got to
great.
do what works for you.
Absolutely. As part of my Halloween series on the blog, I pulled out a few of the horror films from over the decades. And
Okay.
I'd like to know, you have to pick one per decade, which is
Okay.
hard, isn't it, when there's so many amazing horror films.
Yeah.
So if we start with the 60s, I've got Night of the Living Dead, I've got Rosemary's Baby, and I've got Psycho.
I really like Psycho. I think that's
Yeah,
a really good one, and it's I watch that like almost every year just because I think it's like I feel like that's kind of the oldest like horror film that I've like seen. Because like I grew up like in the 2010s, and so like I don't know, I'm not really like I've seen a lot of like old films, but as for like horror, I think Psycho is probably the one of the oldest ones I've seen, and it's like interesting to see, especially working on horror sets all the time. It's like it's fun to see stuff like that that's like, you know, black and white and stuff, and
yeah,
how they did like my genre, you know, like back then.
yeah.
That's a really good one. I like a lot of Alfred Hitchcock's work, so I'd say that for the 60s.
I read that the shower scene originally was going to be silent.
Oh, really?
Can you believe it?
Yeah, that music is like super famous now.
Yeah, I think, and also Hitchcock said that 33% he gave that figure of the film's success was the music. How
Yeah,
precise. But also, I think Hitch, come on, maybe a bit more than 33, you know?
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely recognizable music for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to go to the 70s now. This is my era of when I grew up, I guess,
Uh-huh.
of horror films. We've got Jaws, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Carrie, Halloween, Alien, The Omen, and The Exorcist.
There's a lot of good ones. I'd
Yeah,
say Jaws for that one.
yeah.
I think I saw. Oh no. So okay, it's kind of funny because I think I hadn't ever seen Jaws like when I was like growing up and stuff, and then at one of my like local movie theaters that's like near my house, they were bringing back like a lot of classic movies, and they recently like brought back Jaws, and I like had never seen it, and so
Oh,
I like went to see it, and so it's like the first time I saw it was like on the big screen, so that was really cool, and I was like really impressed with it, and um I liked how they didn't really like show the sharks that much at the beginning. And so I like got used to that. And I was like, oh, they're like not really going to show the sharks. And then towards like the middle to the end, they showed them like a lot. And then it like surprised me because I was like expecting them not to. So I liked that. So
yeah.
I'd say that one.
He really built the suspense in that film, didn't he?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've got the 80s, we've got Poltergeist, The Shining, The Thing, and The Fly.
I'd say Poltergeist because I
Yeah,
mean, that's a classic.
it's brilliant, isn't it? It's
I haven't seen
so
that in a while. I like it though.
I think the woman, the paranormal lady, is really scary to me. She
Yeah.
was just the creepiest woman ever. Um, and I found a lot of films have kind of copied Poltergeist in a way
Hmm.
since that original. You can see it in a lot of films.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
yeah, the 1990s, we've got Scream, we've got the Blair Witch Project, we've got Candyman, and Silence of the Lambs.
I really like Silence of the Lambs out of those, because I mean, just such great acting in that.
Yeah, absolutely. The last person I interviewed said that as well, and I was just, all of it was just fantastic, wasn't it? From
Hmm.
the bad guy Buffalo Bill and Hannibal Lecter, and Jodie
Yeah.
Foster, wonderful, wasn't she? But he apparently Anthony Hopkins would sit behind people in cinemas and spook them at the end of the film.
Oh, really?
What a little weirdo! Isn't he? Like, here he comes. Can you imagine?
That
Oh
would
my
be
god.
scary.
It'll be really, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's kind of a bit sick in the head, isn't it? But there you go. Right, we've got the 2000s, got The Mist, The Others, and 28 Days Later.
Okay, so I grew up, I mean, I was born in 98, and so like early 2000s, I was like a little kid. And so
Yeah.
like I haven't seen any of those because like you don't
Okay.
really watch horror movies when you're like up to age 10. So I actually haven't seen any of those, but I've
Okay.
heard people talk about 28 Days Later like on
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
So I hear that's good, but I haven't seen those just because like that wasn't an era that I like watched horror movies in because like I was
But
like age 0 to like I think I turned like 12 in 2010. So I haven't seen any of those, but I'm
I
sure they're
feel
good.
like I feel like your grandmother now. That's although when I was a kid, you could get the films out on VHS from the local newsagent.
Uh-huh.
He would just give you anything, so you could
Yeah,
sneak in and watch it somewhere without your parents knowing. And me and a friend
that's
got out
handy.
The Exorcist. The Exorcist. We were so young.
Oh, really? Yeah, that would have like freaked me out. Like I like horror films now a lot, especially where I'm
Yeah,
like in the horror industry and stuff, and like I know how it's done and stuff. But I was a very like sensitive child, and I think it would have
yeah.
like freaked me out.
Oh
I
gosh,
think my
yeah.
I think my parents like knew that, and that's why they're like, you can't watch any scary movies. But I didn't really start watching them until I was like a teenager, and then I was like, these are
Right.
cool. So
Yeah, cool. So the 2010s, Get Out, It Follows, The Conjuring, Hereditary, It, The Witch, You're Next, Kill List, and A Quiet Place. A
Okay,
lot.
so 2010s is my era where I
Yeah,
like was a teenager and stuff. So I've
yeah,
seen like most of those. Those are all super good, and that's like a hard choice. But I would probably say The Conjuring. I
yeah.
really liked how that was like shot and acted and everything. But I really also like Hereditary because I like A24 movies a lot. But all of those are super good. If I had to pick one though, I'd say The Conjuring because that was
Yeah.
really good. I actually, fun fact, I auditioned for The Conjuring 2, and that was cool.
Wow,
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah.
The original, I had to watch it in 2 parts because I found it too scary.
Oh, really?
Creepy
Yeah,
doll
it
thing,
was
isn't it?
yeah, super good. I tried out for the like older sister in the sequel. I think her name's like Margaret or something.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was a really cool audition because it was this. I don't know if you've seen the sequel, but there's a scene where they're like playing with a Ouija board like in their bedroom, and that was like my audition scene, and so that was fun to do like the Ouija scene for the audition.
yeah.
But it was kind of funny because I didn't know at that time that The Conjuring was like a true story or like supposed to
Oh,
be
I
one.
know.
And so
Oh,
I thought it was totally fictional. And so they just said like 14-year-old girl or whatever, and I was like just slightly older than that. So I just like tried to make myself look younger or whatever. But like I
yeah.
didn't know that that person was an actual girl, so like I didn't try to look like her. And
Yes.
like if I had known that she was real, I would have like tried to look like her. And they just said British accent, and so I just did like a like London type of accent, like all proper and everything. And then I found out that those people were Cockney, and I'm like, that's totally different. So I did like the wrong kind of accent, and I like didn't look like the girl, but it was fine. I'm glad I got the opportunity to audition. That's like still something that I say is like, hey, I auditioned for that because I really like
Right?
that franchise and all the spin-offs and stuff. I think are brilliant, and I'd love to
Yeah.
work with James Wan one day.
I haven't seen Hereditary. I need to see that.
Hereditary is really good. I like Toni
Yeah,
Collette a lot. She's like one of my
yeah.
favorite actresses. And she's like so good in that, and like that performance just like inspires me a lot as an actress because it's just so good, and she like carries the film so well.
I think she's great at accents, and also Rose Byrne.
Hmm.
I watched Insidious the other night, and she's
Yeah,
Australian as well, isn't she? And I just wow, you would
yeah,
never
she's
know,
really good.
isn't she good? So thank you for your list there, your choices. We've touched on the Crumbs and what you're doing for next year is Tiger Tiger at the moment, right? It's called
Yeah,
Tiger Tiger.
yeah,
What does the last 3 months of the year hold for you?
yeah. Well, I don't have any like films scheduled right now because I just finished one, but
Yeah,
hopefully just going on some crazy adventures with my friends and stuff.
yeah.
Just hanging out and doing stuff like that. I am in a I'm in a film that's going to be shooting next year, and I can't say what it is yet, but it's like a modern adaptation of something that everybody's heard of.
Oh,
And I'm definitely a character that you're gonna have heard of, and I wish I could like say what it is, but it's like under wraps right now. But I'm excited
okay.
for that. So kind of getting ready to do that because it's gonna
Yeah,
like when people find out when I can like say what it is, it's really exciting and it's something that everybody's heard of, so it's gonna be fun. But yeah, not too much going on like the rest of the year. Just like I'm gonna go on a lot of like shows like this because the Crumbs just came out and the director is like getting me on a few of them and wanting me to promote it and stuff. So that'll be fun and
yeah.
just kind of hanging out with my friends and family and stuff and doing fun stuff for the holidays and stuff like that.
Oh, have a wonderful Halloween.
Yeah, you too. I was gonna say I really like your little backdrop of Halloween decorations.
Yeah, and I look a bit like a pumpkin as well today. I've got my like orangey top, so so yeah. Have a great Halloween and
You
all
too.
the best for the rest of the year, and hopefully I will catch up with you next year on a podcast with your latest project. That'd be
Yeah,
wonderful.
that would be fun. I'm excited.
Yes, and I'd like to hear your British accent through the interview next year.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Chelsea, for joining me today, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
See you next time on The Mighty Dragon. Happy Halloween!